Hello, good evening. Welcome. Bienvenue. Hello. Super cool. All right, welcome everybody. Good evening. Welcome everybody to the weekly dev times, weekly dev stream. It is Tuesday. It is 3 p.m. CEST. Yeah. I was like, is it? I can't trust me. Hopefully everyone's awake at this point. We are in Europe, but anyways, yeah, Jace's face is muted. Welcome everybody to very, very special dev stream. It is the first dev stream since we unveiled the update 6 update news thingy. 6 a.m. in California. Jeez, why are you up so early? So early. Go to bed. Nobody deserves to be up at that godly hour. Yeah, dev stream with actual content. Oh, what is this? This is the best time zone, isn't it? Yeah, welcome everybody. I don't even know where to start, honestly, because there's so much we have to get through on this stream today. It's actually kind of nutty. Yeah, Dave has news. So hopefully everyone had a good weekend. I don't know why. Is there? Okay, I just hear like a weird echo in my headphones, but it's probably because I have something on that I'm not supposed to have on. Anyways, yes, welcome to our weekly dev stream, where we actually talk about the game, actually talk about what's going on right now, because we actually can talk about stuff. First of all, Jace is on vacation. We unveiled this information last week as well, last like 10 seconds of the stream. But yeah, Jace is going to be on vacation for 2 weeks, and then he'll be back again, I think, hopefully, fingers crossed. In the meantime, you're locked in here with me, chat, okay? So you're gonna have to deal with that. And Jace picked the best time to go on vacation too, because we last week, I don't know if you guys heard the news, okay? If you didn't hear the news, we have a command for this now. Update 6, right? Last week, Friday, we unveiled update 6, and it was a little bit of a different thing. It was something that we've never done before, is we actually talked about the entire thing instead of like teasing it bit by bit. We actually told you guys everything. There's a couple of reasons why we're doing it this way. The main reason really is because we are changing sort of how we're working on the game. We are focusing more on the 1.0 release. We are focusing on finishing the game right now. And as I mentioned in the video, the main problem we've had making these updates is that we tend to look at like, okay, we've made update 4, right? Let's make update 5. What can we do in like the loose time frame we have in between update 4 and 5? And then we sort of plan ahead for that. And sometimes we plan, some people do work on things that take longer, and they don't get to be included in update 5 or whatever, the next update. But essentially that's how we've been doing things up until now. We've been thinking like, okay, if we're making a new update, like what can we do in the time frame we have? What will be exciting for people? Like what would be a cool update to make? And when we were making update 5, we were kind of like in a weird like middle ground. It felt like, to us at least, where we felt that like the update 5 wouldn't be like a grand update, because like we're not adding too much in update 5. We're adding like cosmetics, and we're adding like a couple of changes to the build system, but like compared to the previous updates, which have included like a lot of content for the game, it didn't feel like same sort of vein of update as the previous ones, which is really scary for us in a way, because there are expectations set on us when we are making these releases, and if we don't live up to those expectations, people are gonna be like, oh, Coffee Stain have dropped the ball and this game is gonna go to shambles, right? So we were really kind of worried about that, and we were actually thinking of doing the approach we're doing now for update 5. And we had like a lot of like emergency meetings right before teaser season started off for update 5 with like, what are we doing, man? Should we, what do we do? But it ended up not being the case for update 5. It worked out well. But, you know, once we've gotten update 5 out of the way and we started looking at the planning again, we sort of felt the same way as before, right? We felt that like, okay, but we always do this. We always kind of move the goalpost between updates. Like the intention for us is to reach a point where we feel happy with what Satisfactory is. And so we can like actually say like, this is the final product. This is a released version of the game. This is 1.0. And it is really hard for us to plan for that if we have to like run a marathon in between the updates that we have. And the conclusion we kind of came to was that we don't really have an option. We have to sort of plan ahead for the release because we can't really fit updates in between then and work in the same way. We have to change how we work. And from our point of view, it's always been, for us, the game kind of comes first in almost every regard, and like how we work on it. So, you know, even if it's not exciting and we can't make these like big updates anymore, you know, we think it's going to pay off in the sense that like the 1.0 release is going to be really good, because the 1.0 release will be sort of a grand release of the game. It'll also be a couple of new things. But the road leading up to that will probably be a bit like different, I guess. And we don't really know how it's going to be different. We just know that this update is going to be a smaller one, because some of the work that we're doing are leading over update 6. So like the majority of people are working on the final version of the game. But a lot of people are also working on the things that we're going to see in update 6. So, so that's where we are right now. This sounds sad. I'm just serious, because I wanna ingrain like that. You know, the stressful part for me and Jace is managing expectations of these updates, right? So like we are gonna probably get some flack for doing it this way, from people that are like barely, like where even update 5 was like, oh, there was a small update, like whatever, you know, and fine if people feel that way. Like it's not a, you know, people are free to feel how they feel, you know. So what was the point of all this? I already forgot. But yeah, so that's why I'm being serious here, guys. This is important shit, okay? Like the update that we're working on right now, which we're labeling as update 6, is not gonna be like a grand update as the previous ones. It might still be like a significant change to the game, I think. I honestly don't know too much about it apart from like the overall high level information I've already given you guys, because I haven't really delved in and tried it out yet. But I think it's gonna be pretty cool. This is serious. This is my serious face. All right. So so yeah, that's the reason why we're doing this, and I think we need to sort of I think we're gonna have to kind of like have to hammer on this nail for a bit the next couple of weeks, just to make sure that everyone's on the same page. I know that you guys are probably on the same page because you guys have been here on the streams, and you know, you probably, like, we already kind of talked about this before we even announced update 6. I think a lot of people weren't surprised to hear that like this is gonna be like a smaller one and like we're working towards whatever. Maybe people were surprised the fact that we were revealing so much information about update 6. But that's how it is. There's still a lot of exciting things to talk about the update though. It's not like that video encompasses everything. We haven't really gone into the details yet about update 6. And I think it's going to be really exciting to talk more about that too. And we will probably drop like a couple of snippets of information here on the stream. We're trying to do the same kind of treatment on our YouTube channel, dropping like, you know, cool updates on what we're working on. But right now we're in a phase where not everything is finished. Like when we started the teaser season last time, we were more in a finished state. Now things are more in development, but we're kind of okay with showing that, and we're kind of okay with talking about that because we want to, you know, be open about what we're doing and have this kind of like, you know, back and forth about what we're working on and what our expectations are, etc., etc. So yeah, that is what's happening at the moment, and this is the most state of Dave we could have given you in a long time. So hopefully you guys are excited. I'm gonna just quickly, in case someone hasn't seen the video as well, I'm just gonna really quickly just go through kind of Jesus, or all right, anyway, this stream is gonna be stressful. Tight stream, okay? But essentially what we've confirmed so far with update 6 is that it is all about the exploration aspect of Satisfactory. We're going to talk a little bit more about like what that actually entails, because we have game director Mark. He's going to join us later, and we're going to talk more about like what the exploration aspect of the game means, but also talk about the overclocking changes that we might do. So stick around for that. But so yeah, this update is going to be mostly about the exploration loop. There was like a screen. If you guys saw the tools video we put out, we show like the main game loop of the entire game. And the way it works is like you have the factory loop with like you do factory maintenance, and then you do have like the the mathematical part or whatever, like the layout stuff, and then you have like the exploration loop that's kind of like at the side of it. I wonder if I can bring it up actually and show you guys, because actually it's kind of interesting. It's something that when you're pitching games, you usually have to sort of nail down what the core game loop is, because the idea is that you can always like keep reiterating the main loops of a game. Satisfactory tools. I don't remember. It's probably in the game design part thingamajiggy. 1 second, chat. 1 second. Tool game design. It's one of the documents here. Microsoft Excel. Cool. Very cool. This is a beefy video. Holy shit. 41 minutes. Hope you guys watched it. We put a lot of time into that. All right, I'm not finding it. Whatever. Leaking coming into, yeah, leak from an old video we released. But yeah, so the exploration route loop is a part of the game that we've always sort of like pushed aside a little bit, and it's also something that we always knew that we were going to come back to, because the exploration loop is a part of the game. Like it's a pretty, I wouldn't say it's not a core, like it is kind of a core loop, but it's like it's not supposed to be the main emphasis of the game. It's not. It's like it's a what's the word? Not the leading man of the game, right? It's a side character or not. And it encompasses like the whole exploration aspect of like the planet, and the fact that you're on an alien planet. We like a part of this also is like the whole like story aspect of the game potentially as well, which you won't see until 1.0. So you won't get the full treatment really. But when we have been working on the exploration aspect, for us, we've been working on things for 1.0, which is going to be tied to the story. And that's why, we want to release that part with the final release of the game. We don't want to like drop parts of it because we feel like that would sort of ruin the experience for a lot of people. We're ruining experience enough as it is being in early access for some people. Just kidding. But so like we're not including this in that update, like the story part, but we are including like the other aspects of the exploration loop. And the exploration loop isn't just necessarily that like we're making the world, more interesting, where we're improving the environment and stuff like that. It also goes back to like the aspects of the game, like the gameplay that is affected by the exploration loop, right? So that is also something we want to improve. And due to sort of planning wise, we also won't be able to fit everything that we originally wanted in Update 6. So some things are going to come later down the line. As I mentioned in the video too, we will be working on this game a bit longer in experimental. So it won't be like, it'll probably take a bit longer for it to get out of experimental, because we might do like the initial bunch of stuff that we planned for Update 6, push that into experimental, and then we might keep like tweaking and working on things and introducing new things while we're in experimental. And then when we're happy, we might push it over to EA. But nothing is set in stone yet regarding that. So that might also change because, yeah, if you haven't noticed, we're going to try and be very like adaptive and agile to this particular part of the section of the game, because we kind of need to. So like the final release of update 6 on EA might not come until like way later down the line, sometime like, I don't know, August maybe. I don't know. We'll see. So yeah, that's the crux of that. Let's see. So yeah, I fucking completely sidelined. So yeah, the exploration loop is pretty big part of update 6. We are introducing a new biome in update 6, as we've teased about this video for a long time. We haven't shown anything from this biome yet. I'm very excited for us to actually start revealing stuff. But we have a new biome set. It actually is like a significantly different biome compared to the previous ones. It's not a snow biome though, but I think it's pretty cool. I already saw that comment with people in chat. All right. Anyways, so there's going to be an update. There's going to be a new biome. There's also going to be like an update to the swamp area in the game. And I mean, I've seen the changes we made to the swamp area. It's almost like it's a new biome, honestly. It is very different. So I'm looking forward to showing that as well. And there's also a couple of random areas on the map that we're also like kind of tweaking and updating. But you know, if you've been with us before, when you've seen these world updates, you know that like they come in batches. So when we do drop the update, you will get like an update to the world, but there's more things to come. It's not going to, it probably the world probably won't be fully finished until we reach 1.0. And maybe even like after that, we might do some tweaks, but, there's still a bunch of areas in the game that we feel are unfinished. We have shared that like map a while back, and we might make an update to that map with the state of things as they are right now. But there's a couple of, if you check our press kit and under update 5, we have like a map where you can check out the state of things. We also showed it in the video. And there's a couple of areas that won't get many major changes, but there's still a couple of like environmental tweaks and things that we're going to update. So yeah, the whole biome is floating. That would be cool, actually. What if it is? Except it's not, because you already showed it. But so yeah. Also, just want to quickly say as well, the new biome won't be as foggy. I haven't seen too many people talk about that, but I just want to confirm, because I know some people have like, you know, getting triggered from like the previous updates where a lot of fog on the map. The fog was there to like tease it more so than like the actual amount of fog that will be in that environment. It was mostly just so you guys wouldn't get like a clear image of it. Can we get a fog biome? That's a pretty cool idea, actually. So yeah. Apart from that, we also have plans to integrate like more, maybe potentially add some kind of weather mechanic to the game, specifically rain. We're not like 100% sure if that is actually going to make it in, because we've mostly been trying things out. It's been kind of promising so far though, but it all comes down to like how much time do we have left, and if there's enough time. Because one thing that we're adding to this game, to this update, is a huge revamp of the atmosphere system. This is something that I think we were originally planning to update this in update 5, but we didn't have time. And then the system kind of like took an even deeper improvement, a bigger improvement. So the new atmosphere system that we have in the game are gonna like completely replace the sky sphere. So the sky sphere that you are seeing right now in game is like, say goodbye to that, because it's gonna be completely changed. We have like dynamic like clouds and stuff generating and stuff, and it's like it's so much nicer. Yeah, it's gonna be pretty cool. And there's gonna be also a lot more like, the biomes are also gonna be more sort of, the atmosphere in each biome will also be a little bit more distinct, I would say. When you're like moving from one biome to the other, colors will be more like unique to the biome and stuff like that. So it's really cool. I'm really looking forward to showing you guys that. Yeah. Let's see, that's that. So the next aspect that I want to talk about is creatures. Like I mentioned in the video, we have plans to improve the creatures. Some people will kind of, I didn't give too much information here what that actually entails, because I did mention that we are changing how they behave. We're updating the behavior. We kind of reworked the entire AI system. This is something that we've planned for a long time. If you remember when we talked about the issues we have with the pathing system and the AI in the game, some of those issues are still being worked on, because we sort of did a bigger revamp of the overall AI for the game. And this is something that I think we've communicated in this past, but this is a huge system rework that we've always wanted to do because we see a lot of potential in improving the creature behavior. So yeah, the creatures are getting like a revamp in how the AI work. I can't tell you too much exactly what differs because I haven't actually seen how it plays in action. But the major thing with the AI and the new creature behavior stuff like that is they're gonna be more it's gonna be more clear what's going on. When you're fighting hogs, it's gonna be more distinct what's going on. They're gonna animate more to indicate when they're doing charges and stuff like that. And so it won't be just if you know exactly how to handle the hog, it won't play the exact same time every single time. We want to improve on that a little bit. That being said, the fighting aspect of the game isn't supposed to take over. It's not supposed to be a fighting game or a shooter or anything like that. But we still wanted it to be a little bit better than what it is right now, without it overtaking, the how it works right now. We're also doing an updated look on the enemies in the game or the creatures in the game. Some of them will get a kind of completely new look. Some will get just a revamp of their current look. And if there's time, we'll add more creatures to the game. So yeah, but we won't be able to add the big crab yet, unfortunately. The long-awaited big crab. It's required a little bit more work than we anticipated originally. We also got more ambitious, I think, a little bit, because we're also trying to figure out what is the point of the big crab? Is it supposed to be a boss creature, or is it supposed to just be a big creature that roams, or is it supposed to be this, cool encounter that you may only have? We don't know at this point. And we're kind of evaluating what are the different approaches we can do there. So that's the main reason why the big crab isn't in. If you're curious about what I'm talking about when I say the big crab, we unveiled in the 2018 reveal trailer. I think I can find that. There was one shot of this huge enemy, and we haven't really shown anything of that enemy since then. Where are you? It's at the end of the trailer, right? Where are you? It's it's a super short snippet. There. Oh, found it. Where'd you go? It's such a short, I have to almost. There. I found it. All right. Cool. I always forget to set this up every single time. So this is the big crab that I'm talking about. This is a creature that we've teased, in this update in that trailer, and you've never seen it since, right? Where is it? I don't know. It's just gone. Burn it. We originally wanted to include this in update 3, but due to the need to upgrade the AI system, it just didn't work. It didn't happen. So this is a creature that we want to add to the game at some point, but it probably won't happen in update 6. I mean, I say probably. I know it won't happen in update 6. But just to give you guys an update on what's happening with that, because I know a lot of people always ask about it. The OG players, so to speak. So yeah, and again, we'll talk more about creatures when I know more, but we also have things to show, so it'll probably be a video. We also want to improve the interactions with the map. In the video, I say that we might change radar towers. Correction, we are going to change radar towers to have more of a significant purpose in the game. I don't even know what the radar towers do because I don't think I've ever used them in my own playthrough. But the sort of goal with the map changes that we're doing is that we want it so that when players are about to explore the map, we want to give them sort of tools to be better to like set up expeditions almost, and you know, give indications like where to go and stuff like that. So the radar towers are supposed to give you better insight as to like what's going on in the environment and like give you directions of like where maybe resources are, stuff like that. I don't know exactly how it works, so I'm kind of like hesitant to talk too much about it. But the thing I wanted to communicate here is that the radar towers will serve a bigger function that they do right now. Because right now they're just like, they're cool looking, but like, what did they do? Apart from revealing the map, you know? We want them to serve a bigger purpose than that. And that goes also with the map itself. We want that to improve and be more useful for people. But the map changes, I have to also put emphasis on this. The changes we're making to the map will mostly be about the exploration aspect of the game. I know a lot of people want to have like, you know, sort of satisfactory calculator, interactive map sort of features where you can see like your factory layouts and stuff like that. We won't be able to do that for this update. And I don't know if we'll be able to do that for any update, but that is something that we also want to be able to do so that you can use the map in more useful ways for building as well. But for this update, the map will mostly have improvements regarding like expeditions and exploration and that kind of stuff. So yes. We're making equipment changes as well. I think I talked about this in the video a little bit. We're adding multiple body slots. We're not 100% sure if this is going to make it into this update, but this is something that we're working on. This is highly requested. I know some people were like, geez, it took so long for them to realize they just wanted to add the body slots. We had like multiple body slots in back in the day for Satisfactory. I believe we even showcased this in an early build, maybe. But yeah, the reason why we removed multiple body slots was because we felt that you became a little bit too overpowered with the equipment. And we sort of still feel that way, but what we sort of been doing up until this point is we've been kind of reevaluating like how, you know, multiple body slots has always been an option to just add back into the game for us. But we also wanted to check if are there other things we can do with the equipment system that makes sense, that, you know, makes sense without us changing like the body slot system thingamajiggy. And I think we've sort of evaluated a few things and realized that sort of the best approach is really to add multiple body slots. And it might have seemed like obvious that like, well, we should have just done that. Just add more body slots. That's what we asked for. You know, we wanted to evaluate that system before we just went with anything. But I don't think we're not just going to add like another body slot. We're also changing a little bit how the equipment works too. So you won't get that like overpowered sense. You'll still be able to do some of the things that you aren't able to do right now. For instance, right now you can't use, you know, the hover pack and build nuclear power plants at the same time, for instance, because you can't use the hazmat suit while you're using the hover pack. You know, stuff like that we want to fix. And hopefully we can fix the when you wear gas masks in vehicle as well. That's also something that was kind of tied into the equipment system, and that was something, it was a bug that was like kind of rooted in like the issue of the core system itself. So we never elected to make like a temporary solution to that because we always knew that we wanted to revisit the equipment system and change how it works. And that is something that we are working on right now, actually. But we don't know exactly what those changes are. But yeah, that's something that we're addressing at the moment, so to speak. And we're making an update to weapons. I didn't mention too much about this, and I kind of want to tease it a little bit too because it's kind of cool. It's nothing like, it's not going to change the game overly, and it's not going to become like a base defense game. But there's some cool additions to some of the weapons that we have in the game that I think is going to be really cool to show off, essentially. It also, again, ties into a little bit like how the equipment system works too, because yeah, there's a couple of things that we need to update in the system itself to make it work. And yeah, not lastly actually, but then we also have a couple of technical improvements. for update 6 that will just overall like improve the game for people. Hopefully we will make it so that like networking and foliage will be a lot better. We're also hoping we will improve like draw time for people, so like you get better performance. We're hoping to improve like, yeah, I mentioned in the video like how we're handling how assets are managed in memory. So hopefully, yeah, that should like improve rendering overall for people with bigger save files and stuff like that. I don't know too much about these technical changes, the systems, because they never told me too much about it. But we are working on a bunch of stuff, as always. I feel like it's important to mention this because otherwise people might feel like we've forgotten it. But we're all working on that stuff. And then lastly, one thing that we are considering doing, I should probably clarify a few things about this. And we will talk more about this later with Mark. But we are considering doing a change to how overclocking works in the game. There's a few reasons why we want to change this, but we'll probably go more in depth about it with Mark. But TLDR is that the overclocking system is kind of like confusing for new players. I know that a lot of old players really like the system and think that it's an interesting trade-off, and we think so too. You know, we think that it serves a purpose, but there's also issues with it. You know, and that's going to be the case with even if we do introduce linear power management, like that's going to introduce other issues for some people, you know. So there's not going to be like, at the end of the day, I don't think everyone will be happy. And I know that some people are requesting that, like, can't you do it so that we can maybe switch which one we want to use? And that is maybe possible later down the line, but I don't think it will be too like possible right now, maybe with the way things are. But when we're looking into, you know, game modes and stuff like that, this is an aspect that we want to kind of like tie into that. So it's possible that we'll add feature for that, or maybe we'll do like a config thing. I don't know. But that is on the table, just so you guys know. But one thing I should clarify too is that we haven't, you know, we sort of put out the question to community, right, to you guys. We are curious what you guys think. And we've heard a lot of different discussions. There's been a lot of really good discussions, actually, about the overclocking stuff from both sides. And it's kind of interesting how I think I think it's kind of split in terms of, I think if you look at polls and stuff like that, you will see that adding linear changes to the overclocking system kind of overtakes it. But I think honestly, when I'm reading the discussions, it's kind of like it's very split in terms of what people actually gain from it and how people actually feel about it. And you know, these are obviously things that we take into consideration more so than the fact that, like, you know, majority of people vote on one thing or another. Because at the end of the day, we're still gonna like take all the information that we have and evaluate that, and maybe we'll change it, maybe we won't. You know, even though most of the polls always are in the lead of changing it to linear, that doesn't guarantee that we're going to change it because a lot of people want it. Like, we have to always think about like what is the best for the game overall. So yeah, but we will talk more about this with Mark later on, because Mark actually is the one who is thinking about this, and you know, he has the proper rationale behind everything. Just listen to me and ignore the rest. That sounds like the way to go, honestly. Yeah. So yeah, we will see what happens with that. And it might be the case where, you know, we might introduce this in update 6 and try it out, and then maybe we'll change our minds. You know, that's hopefully we won't do that, because that might be affecting a lot of people. But there's also an aspect of this discussion where it's easy to like speculate as to like what the actual implications are of introducing a system like this. But when we actually try it out, you know, it might not be the case that you know, what we hypothesize about might not come into fruition. And it's a lot of cases like that in game dev, where something might seem obvious, and then when you try it out, it's not at all obvious. But there's a lot of really good discussions about this. I think we're gonna try and like organize a little bit better so that we can have maybe like QA posts that we sort of lead people towards. But you know, right now I'm reading pretty much every discussion I find, like on the Steam forums and QA site and Discord, and just like taking it all in. And I'm really pleased to see that there's a lot of like pretty like pretty decent discussion all around from people sharing opinions about this. Because it is not an easy, like, it's not a clear, like, this is obviously better. Like, they're better in different ways. And we always have to weigh, like, are they better in ways that will influence, like, the thing as a whole, or will it influence, like, a core set of people, or will it influence, like, it's hard to, like, imagine sometimes when you're playing a game, but people have very different experiences with games. And it's hard to, like, as a player, and I think about this a lot when I play other games. It's hard for me to, like, be like, how is everyone experiencing this game? Like, you can't really, it's hard to, like, imagine that. You have to sort of just collect that data, trust that the game developers are collecting that data and, like, making good choices around it. So yeah, we will talk more about that with Mark. Anyways, holy shit. So that is the main crux of update 6 as of right now. Or crux. That's the content of update 6. Any questions? Okay. Holy shit. So much. We usually start community highlights like half past, and we're like 50 minutes over time. So I'm thinking we should probably just, like, dive into community highlights. I was actually considered not doing community highlights today because there is so much to talk about. Dave was stated, that's for sure. There's still a lot to talk about, and it might be better to have this discussion with Mark too about the different things about update 6. So I don't think this one stream is gonna be able to, like, encompass everything that's going on. It's honestly a bit overwhelming with all the discussions that are happening right now. So let's take a break from update 6 for now. We will get back to that.